keyword research. Okay, and let's start. Let's say explaining what are the steps that are included in a typical keyword research process. The first, you need to start by defining what's called seed terms. And in our example, seed terms could be things like link and links, plural, backlink, backlinks, link building, outreach, email, content marketing, PR, SEO. These are all seed terms and can be the beginning of your research in order to start identifying keywords that are included in the topical areas that we just saw. Okay, that's not enough because you need to dive a bit deeper. It's great to find all the terms that include the phrase link building inside them, but if you want to develop topical authority, you have to dive deeper, and you have to do that, and you can do that by uncovering semantic terms. Okay, you can also call those jargon terms, and once again, we are not going to argue on the terminology, but what these terms are all about is that when it comes to link building, for example, let's take this topical area as an example. Chances are that there are more terms out there besides the one that include the phrase link building inside them, and these could be terms like that include terms like DR, traffic, keywords, rank brain, skyscraper, as we saw earlier, dwell time, pitch for email pitch, and so on and so forth. So you need to uncover all of these semantic terms and make sure that you have a very good understanding of what are these terms for each of the topical areas that we have defined earlier. Then, especially if you are a software as a service company, you need to make sure that you have identified all the branded terms as well. Okay, for our example, branded terms that are semantically related are Ahrefs, ClearScope, Prowly, Pitchbox, Respona, Haro, and so on and so forth. And this is important because you may have to create, for example, alternative pages or comparison guides, and so on and so forth. Okay, or in some cases, you may also have to create a guide, for example, on how to use Ahrefs, or a guide on how to use ClearScope, because this is semantically related and it's included in the broad topic of one of the topical areas that you want to develop topical authority on. Okay, not only that, but you have to take a step back and, I would say, understand that there is a lot of information out there and a lot of questions that people have when it comes to some of these topical areas, and you have to be there to answer these questions, regardless of whether this is a keyword that has a search volume and that SEO software like Ahrefs, for example, report because they have it in their database. And to do that, you can use, and I will jump out of the presentation now to share a couple of things with you. And to do that, you can use websites like Reddit, for example, or Quora, and you can do it in that way. For example, here we have, as you can see, reddit.com, and we have one of the subreddits that we know is relevant to the topical areas that we have in our presentation and the example that we are using. And at the same time, we want to see what conversation happened inside this specific subreddit for link building. And as you can see, there are many interesting nuggets here. For example, is link building the biggest scam in SEO? The first result that Google is serving in the SERPs. I want to hire for link building, but I don't trust anyone. So trust seems to be an issue when it comes to link building. Regardless of whether there is a keyword in SEO software, it seems that you may have to create a piece of content around that. How to get started with link building? Okay. Why is link building so important? Okay. What are the most effective link building strategies? Well, this could be something that you may find a keyword for it. Okay. But I just want you to understand that by taking a look at these websites and stop thinking for a minute about keywords and start thinking about information gap analysis instead, you will be able to identify all the conversations that happen based on a given topic and include that as part of your strategy. And this is important because you're not just interested in keywords, you're interested in information, and anything that's included or should be discussed in the eyes of Google, at least for one of the topics that you're interested in, it's something that you need to cover. Let's assume that you have all these topics and these keywords. What's next? What's next is what we call at MINUTTIA, which is something that I've learned from Bernard, search intent classification. And once again, everyone has their own way of, doing things and their own terminology. I would say that this terminology is pretty nice for explaining that if you have a set of keywords for each of the topics that you want to develop topical authority on, you need to make sure that these are classified by search intent. And here you have a template that we will be giving away, okay? You have a template that will help you do that exact thing that I just mentioned. And not only that, but you can use these search intent modifiers as part of your keyword research process. Now, here you could say, okay, George, that's great. How will we do that? Because I don't know where to get started. Well, if you go to start here, we have prepared a loom for you. It's very detailed. It explains exactly what you have to do in order to use our search intent modifiers and include them as part of your keyword research process, okay? And last but not least, you could say that, okay, we have done all these things. We have identified the keywords. We have identified the topics, the subtopics. We have even classified everything based on search intent. But, we are missing something. And what we are missing is that we don't have the resources to do everything at once. We are not HubSpot. Like, where do we get started? Here, you have another template. This is something that we have been working on for quite a while at MINUTTIA, and we are using for our clients. Essentially, what it does is that it allows you to use different metrics that exist out there, and some that are proprietary, we have developed and we use internally at MINUTTIA, assign a weight to each of these metrics, and come up with an ultimate score for each of the keywords that you have in your list of keywords, so that you can prioritize better, okay? And as you can see here, we start with configuration, where you assign weights to each of the metrics that you take into account. And then once you do that, and once you set up everything, you can go to topics, and we have some sample data. Once you make a copy of this template, I want you to delete everything so that you can use it for your own keyword research. But let's take an example. Let's take an example, how to start an email, okay? As you can see here, we have inserted all the metrics, and we have weights to each of the variables that we take into account. And we see that according to our template and our way of calculating things, the opportunity score for this keyword is 48, okay? The opportunity score for another keyword, off-page SEO, is 47, okay? Another one is 39, how to monetize a blog. So this allows you to prioritize and make better decisions when it comes to your the keywords that you are going to go after. Because once again, you have limited resources, limited time, and you are not HubSpot, okay? You need something scalable that works fast and that can help you make better decisions. Question here could be, okay, George, but once again, like, this is too complex. How are we going to use it? Well, we have prepared a video for you, a Loom. I break down all the process, exactly how you can use it once you make a copy of it, okay? So all these things considered, now you have a process for performing keyword research. And you have also two templates. These are, by the way, the exact same templates that we use at MINUTTIA in order to identify, in order to perform keyword research for our clients, okay? Obviously, you need like some logic behind it, and it requires some experience as well. But I really believe that these two templates will help you and will make the process way smoother for you.
Now, if you liked this ClearScope webinar snippet, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe so you don't miss out on more great tips and strategies from the industry's best SEOs and content marketers. Make sure to check out the ClearScope YouTube channel for more great content.